What's been the hardest lesson for you or lessons being a special needs parent?
It it has definitely put me in my place. Like I
Okay.
thought I've lived through some rough stuff
Uh-huh.
in life, but it it definitely lets me know this is going to sound bad, but like that I'm not as strong as I think I am or that
Yeah.
I thought I was, like I got this, I can tackle the world. I've lived through this, I've lived through that,
Yeah.
whatever. But then it's like, yeah, just I feel like it definitely puts me in my place. It humbles me, I guess.
Mhm. Okay. Hey, everybody. Hi, listeners. We have a new episode I'm super excited about. Another new guest that I'm very, very excited about. She was actually one of our good family friends, actually gave me her name to kind of get to know her and her daughter and her family. So I'm really excited for this episode just to hear their story. I'm sure it's powerful. And so I hope you guys enjoy this episode as much as I know I'm going to. So we're going to jump into it just like we always do. So I will let Miss Danny introduce herself and her family for us, and then we'll talk about the star of the show.
So my name's Danny. I am the mom to two teenage twin girls that are soon to be 16, Shaylee and Michaelin. And then I've been married to my husband Aaron for it'll be 20 years this coming April,
Oh, nice. Okay, 20 years, man.
right?
Okay,
Ah,
so you said they're getting ready to be 16. Is that what you said?
yes, in February
Okay, wow. February what?
17th.
Okay, my husband is on the 26th, so I always ask. Awesome. Okay, so they are twins.
Yes.
And the star of the show, her name is Shaylee. That's who we're going to be discussing today. So let's kind of jump into Miss Shaylee. What is Shaylee's diagnosis?
Shaylee has a chromosome anomaly known as trisomy 9p. It's
Okay.
kind of the way I describe it to people is like the cousin to Down syndrome, because Down syndrome
Oh,
is actually trisomy 21. It's the 21st chromosome affected, where Shaylee's is the ninth chromosome affected. She has
hmm.
um, an extra arm to her chromosome. So she actually has one and a half, where everybody else would have one on her
Right.
ninth chromosome.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's really interesting. So, was this a diagnosis that you knew before she was born? Knew about before she
Um,
was born?
2 months before we found out, we actually found out December 19th. Well, we had uh, the needles. I can't ever remember the name.
The
And
needles.
in the stomach.
Oh, and I'm not going to remember what that is either.
Yeah.
I know what you're
Well,
talking about.
they had Shaylee was so much smaller than Michaelin, and she wasn't growing as fast. She wasn't measuring right, everything like that. And so they thought that maybe she had twin to twin transfusion at first. And then they noticed her heart was not beating the way that it should be, and different things. And so they took us to Wichita, or sent us to Wichita to get further testing and everything. And they did the whatever that needle is. I'll think of it as
Yeah.
soon as I don't need it. Um, and did all the chromosome testing then. And then a couple days later, my doctor let me know that it had come back with trisomy 9.
Okay. So you knew before you even had her.
Yeah.
What was I always like to jump into like the feelings and emotions of it all because we all experience that. So what was that like for you when you found out before you had even had her?
It was absolute terror. It was
Yeah.
so terrifying. The day of December, um, uh, that we went down and got all that testing and everything, um, they had found a two vessel umbilical cord, which they said usually represents a chromosome anomaly, and so they told me then that they thought that she would probably have Down syndrome. They found her cleft lip, hydrocephalus, and the fact that she was so much smaller than cis.
Right.
Um, And so right then and there, we were like super scared and didn't know what was going on. And my husband and my sister were with me during the testing. And I remember it was just lots of tears, lots of
Yeah.
fear, unknown,
Yeah.
um, you know, wasn't sure what was going on or whatever. And then when they did get the test results back from the needle, that's going to bother me that I don't know that. And it came back as trisomy. It's so unknown. Nobody knew what it was or whatever that the specialist in Wichita were actually told me that I'd be better off aborting because she wasn't going to make it to birth. And every time we
Oh,
went down there, they tried to convince me to abort Shaylee to give Mikeland a better chance at life, or vice versa, to abort Mikeland so that Shaylee had more nutrients and this and that. And
oh, wow.
yeah, I let them know several times that that wasn't going to happen. They took my husband in the other room at one point and told him that he needed to convince his wife to abort the baby, and it would save us heartache in the future because the baby would have no chance of life. If she did make it to birth, she wouldn't have a life. And I
Oh,
said, you
wow.
know, if she lives in for 6 seconds, it's going to be 6 seconds of nothing but love.
Right.
Um, and
Right.
she'll have a powerful life in 6 seconds. But I'm not going to
Yeah.
I'm not going to take that chance from her. So it was a lot of fear, a lot of I kind of
Wow.
rambled, sorry,
No, you're
a lot of
fine.
fear and unknown and everything from that. And I said, thank God I didn't listen to them because she's soon to be 16 and she's
Yeah. Yeah. Their their prediction was wrong, which is a
yeah.
beautiful thing. I love that. I love it. So I heard you say some of our listeners don't know, including me. I don't know some of the medical terms either. So you mentioned hydrocephalus. Is that how you
Yes.
say it? What
Yes.
what is that
That's
in
just
layman's terms?
extra fluid on the brain,
Okay, gotcha.
surrounding the
Okay.
brain.
Is that something that she'll always does she still have that issue? Is that
She
a
does, but it is like the older she gets, the less like it doesn't bother her. It doesn't cause any it doesn't get in her way. We've never needed to shunt it. We've just always just kind of monitored it. And if it
okay.
was to grow, then she would need a shunt to drain the fluid and
Oh,
stuff. But luckily, we've never had to go
had
that
to.
far. Right.
Good. Good. That's awesome. I love that.
She, she also has tethered cord, which is kind of like a generic version, I guess. I don't really know how to say that, but um, of the sorry, I don't know how to talk. Spina bifida, kind of like spina bifida, where the
Oh, okay.
things all wrap around each other.
Yeah.
Hers are tethered together there at the bottom.
Okay.
Um, so it was a struggle for her to like learn to walk and everything because
Right.
that was
Right.
kind of helping fight against her.
Was she delayed in those milestones? Like was she
Yes.
when she what how old was she when she first walked?
I know she was 2 when she crawled, and
Okay.
then she was close to 4 when she was walking. She walked with a walker,
Uh-huh.
like what you would see like people with injured or elderly
Right.
use, that kind of walker, only her size. She learned to walk with it. First, she would pull it behind, and then she learned to push it, and then
Okay.
she just slowly but surely got to where she could get on her own. But once she started, I know she had her walker her first day of preschool.
Oh, okay.
So um, she was walking around 3 at 3.
Okay.
But to go unassisted and everything like that, it was
4.
yeah.
Okay. Well, that's pretty neat. I love hearing about that. I can't imagine my daughter does not walk, so I always say when she does, "Ooh, man, I'm gonna have a party."
Yes, there's no stopping her.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Okay, so we can hear her little voice back there. So is
Yes,
she nonverbal for our
she is
listeners?
nonverbal. She's
Okay.
very vocal, but she is nonverbal. She
Okay.
uses
I
a communication device and some sign.
okay. I noticed that she was doing some signing. So
Yes.
that's awesome. Was that hard for her to did she start using sign language when she was young?
Yes, we've used it. We went through infant child development in Salina, and they kind of
Mhm.
started like baby sign with us.
Okay.
And we started learning it. And then when she went to grade school, she had like an amazing teacher, and she learned the teacher was learning sign at the same time as Shaylee and was
Oh,
helping
wow.
teach it and everything. So she kind of picked up on that and picked up on words. And then the same with her communication device. She has it and
Uses that.
uses it quite a bit.
That's awesome. I love that. I love it. Okay, so let's kind of talk about different aspects of your life because living I always call it the special needs lifestyle is what I always call it. And it is a lifestyle and it's different and it's hard and everybody's lifestyle looks different. You know, mine is not the same as yours and vice versa.
Right.
So, what would you say cuz your other the your what's your other daughter's name?
Mikeland, you can call her MJ.
Mike MJ. Okay, that's easy. So MJ is
Yes,
a
her sister.
normal developing child,
Yes.
right? Okay. So what is the family dynamic like? What is your family dynamic like? Do you feel like their relationship is pretty strong and as far as your individual relationships with her and as a family unit? What is that like
My individual relationship with Mikeland or with Shaylee?
with Shaylee?
With Shaylee, yes. Um, yeah, Shaylee and I'm pretty close with both of them, honestly. We have a really good relationship. I think we have an amazing home life. My husband travels for work a lot,
Okay.
so has gone a lot. But even then, um, we're all very close. Very
Good.
uh, Shaylee, like when she talks, I'm the one that can understand her the most.
Mhm.
I always kind of just describe it as when a toddler is talking all their gibberish and spits it out at 100 miles an hour, and everybody looks at mom like, "What?" That's kind of how it is with me with Shaylee. Like she
Yeah.
can tell you an entire story, and you're not going to get but maybe a word or two, and then I can be like, "Oh, she wants da da da."
Right.
Um, we spend a lot of time together, and then being almost 16, sis is with her friends a lot and the
Oh,
boyfriend
good.
and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But even then, she makes time. They have their little traditions that they have to do. They go look, they go drive around every night and they look, check out the river, and they have a really,
Yeah.
really good relationship. I am honestly very blessed with the relationship that those two have. Everybody always gives me credit, and saying that I'm a tell or whenever people say I'm a good mom or something like that. And
Yeah.
of course, I'm appreciative of that, but I
Right.
think most of the credit honestly goes to Mike Lynn, just because, I mean, yeah, I'm the mom in the situation or whatever, but I think especially being a twin, I don't want to say she gets overlooked. We notice we definitely see her and
Yeah.
and her things, but like the little triumphs,
Yep.
you know, to to Shaylee, like if she was to jump up and down, that's huge for us. That's a huge
Right.
triumph for her. Where if sis was to do it, we're like, okay, cool, you
Yeah.
jumped. you know,
Yeah.
it doesn't necessarily. We're not trying to take away from Michaelin, but
Right.
it's just huge.
Yeah.
And she's been really good, a really good sister throughout. I'm going to say 16 years, basically,
Right.
um, of accepting that and knowing,
Yeah.
the challenges that sis faces and being her biggest supporter and stuff like that. So I honestly
Yeah.
think that she deserves more praise than I do when it comes to compliments for how Shaylee's
Yeah.
turning or
Is she trying
turning
to tell
out.
you something?
She wants to know if Santa came to everybody's house.
Oh, that's a good question. We asking all the listeners, did Santa come to your guys' houses? He came to mine. He came to mine.
Yep, he came to Shaylee. She got a motorcycle
I saw that. That looked like so much fun.
with training wheels.
That is
Yep.
awesome. I love that.
I
It looks like
know.
a lot of fun.
She
Okay.
loves it.
So, I forgot what I was gonna ask something that you said, and now I forgot it. That's okay. It'll come back to me when I don't need it. Anyways, let's talk about your social life. Some people have very strong social lives, very active social lives, and some people don't, just depending on how things are. Me, for instance, I do not have a strong social life like I probably should because we accommodate so much around our daughter. um, so how is your social life personally? Do you have a pretty strong social life? Do you have a lot of friends? Do you struggle with making new friends? What's that like for you?
I have like my friends that I am close with that have been lifelong friends or uh something like that. I have my few best friends, I should say, my circle of friends that I've
Okay.
had forever that have kind of helped, that I've known even before I got pregnant.
Right.
And then I've gained a few friends that I'm really close with, again, brought to like family. Um, but I don't, as for my social life, everything I do socially is basically child related. It's either
Right.
for Shaylee or for
Right.
Mike Lynn or a
Right.
family event. I don't go.
Right.
I think in 16 years I've had three outings unsupervised by
Oh,
children.
wow. Oh, wow.
Besides going to work, I guess, but I don't I don't get out much
Yeah.
without children.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I can relate to that. Sounds normal to me.
Right?
Sounds completely normal. So does Shaylee have, this is a question. I now remember what I was going to say. Does Shaylee have any medical issues right now that kind of I know that we talked about in the beginning, like the hydrocephalus, and does she have any other like medical issues that she struggles with right now presently?
She has GERD really bad.
Okay.
It's like acid reflux
Yeah.
basically, and kind of throws up from it. Horrible, horrible anxiety.
Oh,
She
okay.
is very like routine kind of person. So like an example is if she's at school and I just call out of the blue and say, "Hey, I'm going to pick Shaylee up," and Shaylee, excuse me, Shaylee didn't know ahead of time that I was picking her up or what I was picking her up for.
Mhm.
It's going to spiral her into an anxiety attack, and she's probably going to end up making herself throw up. Um,
Oh.
so
Oh,
that's one of the
wow.
biggest things that we struggle with. Um, I know that's not necessarily medical, but
No, I mean,
we can
that
kind
is
of,
something that affects the like your ability to function sometimes. Like
yeah.
that's a very big deal, you know?
But then we are also, she was born with the
Oh yeah,
cleft
yeah.
lip and palate, and also her gums. And so we are going through extensive orthodontic work right now. She's got an expander in the top of her mouth right
Oh,
now.
okay.
And as soon as we get that done, she's going to have a hip graft or a bone graft
Oh
from both of her hips
gosh.
put into her. I know.
Oh
I'm
my
excited,
gosh.
but I'm dreading. I'm super dreading the
Oh,
day, but I'm excited for it to be done and over with.
wow. I didn't
Um,
even realize would take hip bone to put it in
yeah,
your mouth.
because they say it's the
Wow.
one that grows the closest the way that the gums would.
Oh. Huh. That's intriguing. I have never knew that. Wow. Well, I hope that that goes smoothly for her. I know that's stressful as a parent. I'm sure it'll be stressful for her too, but hopefully worth it. Worth
Yes,
it.
we're
How
hoping
about
that that'll help, like eating and
yeah.
breathing, and because all of that is so closed still. Her When they did her palate, it didn't heal correctly, and it kind of
Oh.
all, and so she's got a fistula, and so it's all still very open, and so she does have some troubles, um, not necessarily breathing, but kind of like she's like, picture yourself with the head cold, and when you get all stuffy, that's kind of
Mhm.
how she is all the time,
Oh
because
my
it's all
gosh.
just so open. She's constantly just breathing almost too much air.
That
I
sounds
don't know how to explain it.
horrible.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Poor girl. So does she have a lot of issues with eating? Does she eat regular like table food? Does she do well eating?
Yeah, she does now. She when she was 4 days old, she had a feeding tube placed. And
Okay.
she had a G tube for I think 8 years, eight or
Oh
nine
wow.
years.
Okay.
And then we just were lucky enough that it kind of, she was nothing by mouth for the first couple years. We were
Uh-huh.
introducing little foods just so she could taste it, especially when she was getting the tummy
Right.
full. I wanted to
Right.
experience that mouth movement and try to get that or whatever. Um, but yeah, once she was like 8 or 9 and she finally got the go ahead to get it out and got that table food, it's kind of been nonstop there. And I tell everybody she eats like a 16-year-old boy, just nonstop all the time.
That's good though. I'll
Yeah, you
take
can't
it.
tell
We'll
by looking
take
at her,
it.
but she is definitely a little porker.
That's too funny. Oh my goodness. Okay. So, what else? We talked about social life. Do you feel like I love talking about mental health because it's a real thing and I mean, whether it's pretty or not, it is definitely part of this journey. One of the biggest struggles I know I've struggled with. Do you feel like at any point, since Shaylee's been alive that you struggled mentally, depression or anxiety or whatever it might be? Do you feel like you've experience those low moments or you still do, or how has that been for you?
On the spot. Yes, a lot. Shaylee, ever since she was little, I've always been, like I said, my husband travels. He can't,
Right.
nothing bad against him.
Right.
Um, but I was the one when she was hospitalized. She was basically in the hospital all but 19 days of her first year of life.
Oh
Um,
wow.
Most of that in Kansas City, which is, not quite four
Right.
hours away. And so, and I was breastfeeding
Mm-hmm.
Mikeland. So she stayed with me and then they wouldn't let my husband stay. I was in the hospital room with Shaylee. So I've been the constant every single day
Yeah.
for Shaylee, for both,
Yeah.
but for Shaylee, and um, when she would get out of the hospital, I was literally the only one she would let hold for ever and ever and ever.
Oh wow.
And still, even kind of to this day, it's like, as you can tell, she is very much a mama's girl. She is
Yeah.
in mama's bubble. Um, if Shaylee's awake and she's not at school or something like that, then she's usually velcroed right beside me.
Yeah.
And I mean, I love the child to death. She's my girl, but
Yeah.
sometimes
Yeah.
bathroom, shower, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. I just I don't know what privacy is anymore. I
Yeah.
don't know, what I don't know that. And it does. I'm human. It takes its toll. It makes me and then it makes
Right.
me feel bad that I get frustrated with the
Right.
situation or whatever because I'm like, okay, I'm the mom, but it gets tough and I do.
Yeah.
I've fallen into a couple depressions or my anxiety will get
Yep.
when it is constant mom, 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 and I'm like, I'm just trying to take a shower. I'm just trying to
Yep.
brush my teeth, just give me two seconds.
2 seconds.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it is definitely tough and I definitely fight it. Um
Yeah. Yeah,
example.
I completely understand. My daughter is a lot like that when you were just describing that. She cannot walk, she cannot talk, so she can't be active for herself. That's one of the hardest things. So I don't know if sometimes I'm like, actually, I'm okay that you're just stationary sometimes. But the biggest problem with her is if I'm not right by her side, it's just crying or screaming, So when
Yeah.
I've learned how to take a 5-minute shower. And sometimes I'm like, when my husband's home and I have that help, I'm like, I want to take a 30-minute shower because I don't ever get to take a 30-minute shower.
Right.
So it's just those small things that people don't realize, like being able to close the bathroom door, and nobody walk in, just
Yeah, 'cause
I think go ahead.
honestly, like, even in public, I catch myself a lot of the times. I'm like, "Oh, I can lock this door." I just out
Yep.
of habit, I don't because I know she's going to be walking in, and
Yep.
usually she does.
Yeah.
Even in
Yeah.
public, she'll be knocking on the door right because she's
Mhm.
in the stall right next to me or whatever.
Yep.
But it's like even then I could still lock it. These
Yep.
people don't have to see.
Yeah.
Or like when my husband is home, I'll be like, "Honey, dad can help you too. Dad
Right.
dad knows what he's doing. I
Right.
promise."
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think it's just I don't know, I've just been the one for so long, and
Right.
like I said earlier, I'm the one that can interpret
Mhm.
95% of what she's saying and
Yeah.
everything else that I don't know if she's I just I tell myself I'm her safe place. I'd like to believe that. Um,
Yeah,
but
and
yeah,
I agree with
sometimes
I agree with that. If you listen to I truly agree with that. If you listen to how you describe it, and it just makes sense because like you said, like your husband has to travel and there's nothing wrong with that, but you have been the one that has had to step up and just be her constant. And that's what you are, you know? And I don't think there's anything I sometimes struggle with oh my gosh, we have spoiled this girl completely rotten that, because I mean, listen, my daughter is smart. She may not be able to use words, but some people say, do you really think she understands? And I'm like, well, she just manipulated you
yeah,
around the town. So obviously she understands. So
yep.
like
Yes, Shaylee is
so
very, very, very good at being manipulative. Every IEP meeting I think we've ever been to, that's one thing that they'll be like, "Well," and in a good way, in a fun way, not
right,
not
right,
deceitful or
right,
whatever, but I'm like, "Yep,
right.
that sounds like my sassy little Shaylee."
Yep. Yep. That's like Judea. Gosh, we might have to introduce you to Judea one day. My goodness.
That's a beautiful name.
Thank you. We just call her Miss J. It's a lot easier. She's a diva.
I feel that.
So,
I have a couple divas.
did you say that you do work?
I do. I work part-time at a preschool.
Okay. Okay. So you work around kids all day.
Yes.
Well, not all day, but you know what I'm saying. That's what you do
Right.
for a living. Okay. Do you ever feel like Do you ever like for me personally, when I get to go to work, it's I get to break away, when Jay's at school and I'm at work. But if you're working with kids all day, do you ever feel burnt out? And not to sound mean or anything, but I mean, you're giving energy into kids and then you go
Right.
home and you're giving it energy into kids. So is that
Right. And
ever
that's
tough?
it is. And to be honest, like the last 3 years, I actually worked at the high school that my children go to. Um,
Oh
and
yeah. Yeah.
this summer, sis, um, over the summer, my husband and I had talked. I'd been looking for
Mhm.
a new job last year as well. Um, and I wanted to go back down to part time because this is the last couple years um, was the first time that I had had a full time job besides like daycare,
Right.
an actual full time job since my girls were born.
Oh
I've always
wow.
been kind of well, I did parent South too, I guess, but um, part time just works better for me because if one of them gets sick or it's just easier for our lives.
Right.
And
Right. Uh-oh.
the last 3 years, yeah, let's put her down. She's not happy.
I'm like,
Sorry,
that does not
listeners.
sound like a happy kitty.
Um, working at the high school, it was pretty stressful because those kids are very verbal and they're high school children.
Mhm.
And so the last 3 years was a lot more rough, feeling that
Okay.
burnt out, exhaustion and stuff.
Yeah.
This year honestly has been a lot easier where it
Good.
is back to part-time. I'm home by noon every day. I can get my errand that 12 to 3 gives me kind of time to I take my cat nap,
Yeah.
get my power going back up again,
Yeah.
run my errands, do what I need to do the dishes that
Yeah.
have been sitting there for God only knows how long, um, to just breathe. Gives me my
Yeah.
time to breathe, and so that helps me a lot.
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely. Do you feel like that is really the only time that you have for self-care? Like, do you feel like you have time for self-care out of that 12 to 3 period?
No,
Okay. Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
no. As soon as they're home, it's gung ho.
Yeah. Yeah. I can relate to that. I can relate to that. It's exhausting. I don't think some people realize. I mean, some people do. All parents are exhausted. I'm not dismissing that at all. But when you add on someone with special needs, I'm just like, oh, holy moly.
Yes, it's a lot.
Jeez. I don't know what I signed up for. Oh man.
It is a
Um
lot.
yes. Yes it is. Yes it is. Let's see what else I want to ask about. I just ask all the questions. Do, does Shaylee does she have her own like little friend group at all or friends? Does she have
She
any friends
does.
that she
She has friends like through school,
Okay.
that she loves.
Yeah.
Um, she's had kids that she's grown up with that like we were friends,
Right.
and then they have kids with disabilities or whatnot, and Shaylee's become friends with them.
Okay.
Um, and then we try to put her in a lot of different um, or introduce her to a lot of activities, I should say. She's in gymnastics right now. There's we
Oh, okay.
special needs um, gymnastics in
Uh-huh.
Salina, and so she's in that with Brooklyn, which is one of her best friends.
Okay.
Um, and we're trying to get more kids out there to join in,
Yeah.
so feel free. Um, and then like Special Olympics, and then we also here in town they have the community like rec, so they do
Mhm.
baseball and soccer and different things like that, and we put her in with like the lower grades,
Right.
second, third graders, kind of the ones that are more her size and stuff like that, and she
Right.
likes to play with those, and um, she has a couple friends from the grade school that
Okay.
she likes to hang out with and stuff. But
Okay.
for the
Good.
most part, her favorites, she plays favorites, are the ones she goes to school with.
Okay. Okay. That's
So
awesome though. That's nice to hear that she does have that little friend group of hers, you know.
yeah.
That's awesome. That is awesome. So, let's see. I am one of those people again that I'll try to keep digging and digging and digging. So if you get sick of me, just let me know. um what has been the hardest lesson for you or lessons? It can be more than one if you like. What's been the hardest lesson for you or lessons being a special needs parent? I believe there's all types of lessons that we learn, but I believe that there's lessons that we struggle with more than others. So I always like to ask that question.
Um, that's tough. It it has definitely put me in my place. Like I
Okay.
thought I've lived through some rough stuff
Uh-huh.
in life, but this is it it definitely lets me know this is gonna sound bad, but like that I'm not as strong as I think I am, or that
Yeah.
I thought I was, like I got this, I can tackle the world, I've lived through this, I've lived through that,
Yeah.
whatever. But then it's like this surgery coming up, for example, you know, is terrifying. And
Yeah.
like I'm an overthinker. And so until it happens, I'm gonna overthink and overthink and overthink and overthink. And that's my baby. And like I'm
Yeah.
like, take it from my hips. I've got plenty to
Yeah.
spare. I can deal with the pain. She can't, whatever. So yeah, just I feel like it definitely puts me in my place. It humbles me, I guess.
Mhm. Mhm.
That and to think at the same time, like not only am I not as strong as I thought I was because I can't, or because I over whatever, but
Mhm.
like she's amazing. She won't be told no. A, because she's a teenager, and B, like just the perseverance.
Yeah.
Like I said, they told her she wasn't going to make it to birth, and she's coming on
Right.
16 years, and she plays baseball, and she plays soccer, and she does gymnastics, and she's done cheer, and she's a sophomore in high school, and her spirit is just amazing, and her smile is infectious. And if you tell her she can't do anything, she's going to be like, oh, but wait, there's more. And she's going to do it.
I
So it's
love
like
that.
it it's a good lesson to learn,
Right. Right.
honestly, because it definitely humbles me. Like I don't have that. I would like to think I had that perseverance at one time, but she definitely does.
They're on a whole nother level.
Yeah, I
They're
don't
on
know
a
if that's
whole nother level.
considered a lesson, but
It is, that's a huge lesson. That is huge.
I don't know.
That's a huge lesson. I think my biggest, one of my biggest hurdles has just been learning to be okay with the people that don't want to invest time or energy into getting to know my daughter. That's
Yes.
been hard for me because people that you would assume would like to be close or grow a relationship don't necessarily want to, which is not, I always tell people, if you're not exposed to this frequently, the special needs lifestyle, if you're not used to special needs people, um, I get it. It's uncomfortable. It's very unknown. Like you feel, I know a lot of people just feel awkward or they feel
Yeah.
scared or they don't know how to act. And so I had to learn to understand that because at first I'm like, what? Like we're related. You should want to get to know her.
Yes.
Like that was so that's been my biggest lesson. That's been hard for me because I'm like,
Well, and I agree with that, and understanding just humans in general and the
yeah,
hatred that they can have, and
yeah,
the the heart-wrenching, just awful things that people are capable of saying. And it's
yeah,
like, this child has fought more battles in 1 week than you will in your entire life.
yep,
Back up and just think about what you're saying.
yep,
Teach your children kindness. They
yep,
don't they don't just wake up one day and think, "Oh, I'm going to be ugly to the person that I
right,
don't understand." They
right,
learn ugly, and my child is filled with love, and she does not know a stranger. She wants to be everybody's friend. She will
yeah.
stop and talk to everybody. Um, she'll talk to you more if you have dogs or cats, not gonna lie. Uh, she will hold a grudge against you if you do not.
Oh my
But
gosh.
she's amazing, and there has been a couple times that people just they're so full of hate, and
Yeah,
a lot of it, even I've talked to parents, or when people stare or something, I just say, "Hey, you can say hi. She doesn't like to be stared at,
right.
but her name is Shaylee. Say hi, whatever." Um, Different things, and I've had, even when I say that to kids, parents get hateful with me, and they're like, "Well, blah
Yep.
blah blah," and I'm like, "I'm just trying to be nice and teach your child how
Right.
to." You can go look how to just be kind. Like, you don't
Yeah,
have to be hateful about it. I don't want your child to be uncomfortable
right,
around my child. I don't want my child to have to be uncomfortable around yours.
right.
Just like you and I had talked over text or whatever,
Yep.
just
Just
ask. There's
ask.
ways to ask, and there's ways
Right.
to do whatever, but don't make my daughter the punchline of your joke.
Yep.
She's not a joke, she's, like I said, amazing. And
Yeah. I know.
the
That's so true. And it is crazy what people will say. It is very crazy. It's very crazy.
yeah, that's one of the hardest lessons, is to learn to honestly shut my mouth when it comes to things
Yeah.
like that, and not just automatically see red and want to
Yep.
go full mama bear, because a
Mhm.
lot of them don't understand. But
Yeah.
like I said, when parents or even the adults can be the ugly ones, I'm like,
Yep. And it's
how?
crazy because I always think about this. You're right. The parents can actually be more hateful, more awkward, more judgmental and critical than the children. And in my head, I'm just like, I always have to remind myself, like, that's not a Shaylee's problem or Jadea's problem. That's a you problem. For some reason, that's a you problem.
Yep.
I'm just like, no, this isn't our fault. This is you, honey.
Yep. Yeah, I've had
You have
people
some
literally, they're
things.
like, "What's wrong with your kid?" Well, nothing's
Hmm.
wrong with my daughter.
Right.
Something's wrong with your attitude. It should probably change.
Right.
But if you're asking about, and then I'll educate them, and I'm like, I'm more than happy to educate you. would love to raise awareness in any way, shape, or form for any child going through anything, you know, or just in general of any diagnosis. But don't come at me like you said, don't come at me that there's something wrong with her. There's nothing wrong with her.
Choose your words wisely, everybody listening. Choose your words wisely.
Please.
And if you don't know what words to choose, then stop staring.
Exactly.
Just like,
and tell
that's
your
what I
children
think
to come
all the
say
time.
hi. Like embrace embrace the kids. That's all they want. They just want to be included. You know, they want to be a friend. They want.
It doesn't have to be an uncomfortable, like people always avoid uncomfortable conversations, which I really am just the total opposite. If it makes you uncomfortable, then you need to talk about it. You need to educate your children on it. You need to educate your family on it. You know, and all you really have to do is let them know that treat everybody with the same amount of respect and kindness, no matter if they're in a wheelchair, they can't talk, they look funny, whatever it is. That's all. That's all you have to do. You know, it's so simple, or I feel like it's simple. So there's an education moment for everybody listening. So sorry if we stepped on toes, but it is what it is. It is what it is.
It's
respect,
life,
kindness, and love. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. And include them in more than just, you know, like, yes, I love the videos. I see them on Facebook, TikTok, whatever, where out of going to high school, or, you know, this kid with a disability has been with the school system for 12 years, whatever. You're getting ready to graduate and you let him run one touchdown. That's great. That's amazing.
Yeah.
But include him in every game.
Yeah.
You know, he probably wants more than just one moment because he's human.
Yep.
As the rest of you. It is great that, and I respect those videos. I'm not saying anything bad about any of those people. I love them. They make me cry probably every single time I see them. But deep down, as the mother, I'm thinking, my God, I just hope that that is not the only moment that child gets. Yeah. You know, let them, even if it's at practice, let them run that touchdown every single practice. Let them have as many moments as every other 18-year-old, 17-year-old boy on that practice field or whatever.
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Respect to those people that do that. For real.
Yeah. Yeah. We're not here to disrespect anybody. It's just a matter of, just that consistency and involvement. Like that's big. That's really big. I never even thought about that till you just said that. So that's a really good point. That's a really good point. So getting back to Shaylee, what are some of her favorite hobbies? I know she likes sports, but what else does she like doing?
She loves to craft.
Okay.
Any kind of craft, she's all about it. She loves animals. The bigger the dog, the more dogs you have, the more likely she is to be your best friend.
Oh, really? She likes big dogs?
Big dogs. She loves cats. She loves her motorcycle. Like we said, Santa just brought her a motorcycle and she is all about that life. She loves going fast on it.
That's
awesome. Has training wheels. I make her wear her helmet.
That is so awesome. That's a pretty awesome gift.
Yeah, man. She's so excited.
Yes.
She loves hanging out with sis, loves hanging out with her friends. She likes to stop. She likes to sing. What's your favorite song, Sissy? Is it Marry Me? Marry You? No. She loves anything soldier related, like any military stuff.
Oh, really?
She loves the Soldier Coming Home videos. Loves them.
Oh.
Has watched them for years and years and years. And cats. I already said cats. What are some other things that you like to do? You like to go watch like the football games at school and the basketball games and concerts. You love Katie, I know. Katie's one of my best friends, and Shaylee's okay.
Oh, that's awesome.
Hanging out with her friends. Yep, you love to craft and paint. I told him that.
Shaylee, what's your favorite color?
Rainbow.
Oh, there we go. That's good. That's good.
We
You
just had
can't
to
just
redo
pick
her
one
room in
color.
rainbow.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Your dog is not rainbow. Oh, your dog is white. Yes.
What kind of dog do you have?
Grizzly bear and Rebby Rogue. She wants to know what kind they are. Do you remember what kind they are? Tell her Grizz is part pit, part Dalmatian.
Oh,
Okay. And Rebby is an American bully.
okay.
Please don't hate on us for having pits. They're amazing dogs.
Oh yeah. I didn't. You said pit Dalmatian mix.
Yeah.
Is it he or she?
He.
Does he have spots like a Dalmatian?
He does, but they're very, very light unless it's on his belly. His belly is completely covered. Or when you, like, if he takes a bath or gets really wet, then you can see his spots. But other than that, you can't really. But he has a spot like over his eye.
Oh, I love Dalmatians.
He's a good dog.
I love them. Oh, I love that.
See if I can find that. Yeah, you see them? They're so silly. Here you go.
Oh, okay. He's so cute. Oh
So
my
god. Kind of, I don't know if you can tell, like on his belly.
And you can see some of the spots on his legs.
Yeah. But see, like down here on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
His
Okay.
belly,
yeah. I see them.
right in there. It's like he's got a whole bunch of spots.
What an interesting mixture.
And then that's our girl.
Oh, look at her. Does that say naughty?
Yeah. Yep, there she is.
That's awesome. Let's see. So you've kind of explained Shaylee's personality. But just to kind of give like a nice little summary about Shaylee's personality as a whole, kind of describe that for our listeners. What kind of personality does Shaylee have?
She's very sassy.
No.
She does have a great personality, honestly. She loves to joke. She loves to scare people.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, especially Dad and Sissy and Katie. But she's very loving. She's very nurturing. So like she worries a lot if mom has a headache or Sissy has a headache, the whole day she'll worry that so and so sick or whatever, and she'll tell everybody. That'll be the huge topic. And she'll take care of you. She'll make sure that you have an ice pack and Band-Aids or whatever it is that you need. So she is very giving, very loving, very fun, but definitely full of sass. She does
Is she usually just really very joyful? Does she have like any behavior issues at all or struggle with behaviors like at all?
She is very joyful most of the time. We do have some behaviors. A lot of it is if she's starting to get real upset, like if Dad's been gone too long. Excuse me. And she's really starting to miss Dad or something, then the behaviors get a little bit worse.
Okay.
And then it's just a lot of whining.
Okay.
Just every little thing kind of sets her off, and she just gets super grumpy, and I feel like she's cussing me out. And we'll start crying, and she gets to ugly crying, and it's kind of and I can't calm her down until she like gets to talk to Dad or whatever. The same thing, like if she's getting tired, if she's up past her bedtime, or if we're at somebody's house or there's a big event going on or something, if she gets overstimulated, it's kind of the same thing. Those behaviors will start, and that, or she gets like super clingy, but instead of like clinging nicely, she'll start hitting me and biting me. And she's kind of started that a lot with Sis lately, where she's hitting and biting on Sis.
Yeah.
Um, but if depending on the atmosphere and if we can keep, like I said, her steady and her anxiety down,
Mm-hmm.
her schedule steady and her anxiety down, then those behaviors lessen. And my
Right.
husband also got a new job to where he's home quite a bit more.
Oh,
And so
good.
that helps, but it also hinders because she's used to him being home more. So when he is gone,
Yeah.
then she's like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, dad hasn't been gone this long in a minute. He should be home by now.
Yeah.
Because she had an episode like about 3:30 this
Mm-hmm.
afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of lasted until dad called, and dad was able to call about 5:30. So
Yeah.
luckily we got that taken care of.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, sometimes the behaviors. Our daughter has always struggled with behaviors. I think it's the type of autism. Honestly, she's always had an aggressive attitude, but she's just always been very violent to herself. She never actually used to be violent to people until really recently. Um, so I mean, it's hard. Like, I mean, we used to go through phases of she would just mutilate herself until she was bloody, literally.
Oh,
Um, and that lasted so long. So it's like the behaviors, whether they're violent or not, I mean, the behaviors are exhausting, and
yeah,
it just drains you mentally and emotionally. It drains you. So,
yeah, and that's kind of even with like the anxiety that I was talking about.
mhm,
She has it, and any little thing can set it off. Like the other day, we had went and seen family that was in town in
mhm,
McPherson, and we were driving home, and it was raining, and she just decided she didn't like rain that day, and
yep.
had an anxiety attack all the way home, and was like throwing up in the back seat, and
Oh
I'm like
gosh.
trying to drive in this icy rain, and talk to her, and
Yep.
a couple times having to pull over and um make sure she's getting, I always keep
Yeah.
cups in the cars or whatever. You just learn
Gosh.
that sometimes she'll just, and I've noticed too, like if it's something she doesn't necessarily want to do,
Mhm.
um, she'll kind of throw herself into an anxiety attack. Um,
Oh, okay.
so that we're like, oh, okay, you're not gonna do this. But then as soon as she realizes she's not gonna do it, then she's completely fine.
Yep.
So then back to that manipulation.
I mean, she's
Um,
smart.
yeah,
She's smart.
but if we if we don't make her do whatever it is or whatever, it's a catch 22. She's going to
Yeah.
miss out. Something as simple as going to the movies.
Yep.
If it's a movie that she just doesn't want to see, or she's not in the mood to see a movie, she's going to make herself throw up until we're like, okay, you don't have to watch the
Yeah.
movie. So
And you
we're
kind of
either
have to
all,
choose your battle. Like,
yeah,
I mean, I'm not trying to like sit here and, you know, justify all that, but really that's what it comes down to. Sometimes it is not worth it. It is not
exactly.
worth it. And I'm
Or,
sorry, but I will not battle if I know that this girl is going to have a full blown meltdown, breakdown because I don't know, because we're not doing the same routine that we do every day. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to fight that. I'm not going to force her to be
right,
unhappy when it's going to make me more unhappy than it's going to make.
exactly. Yeah, Shaylee missed her like all through grade school up until, is it her fifth, maybe sixth grade school here is up to sixth grade, so K through
Oh, okay.
six. And every year without fail, I'd get a call from the nurse. Shaylee's throwing up. She needs to
Uh-oh.
come home. Da 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 da. And it was always on Christmas party day or big event day. So I'd go get Shaylee, and then she's like, I want to go here and get ice cream, and I want to do this, and I want to do this, and she's bouncing off the walls,
Oh.
and I'm like, wait, just hold on. And it took us, I'm like, wait a minute, this child is
Yep.
manipulating us. She just she's getting overstimulated from the parties. And so we worked it out with the school and stuff. Once we figured that out,
Yeah.
they just had smaller little parties and let her know, hey, you get candy and you get this, or and then
Yep.
she was fine.
Yeah.
She found out that she liked it. She wants to go to them, and she's gone to them ever since.
That's cool. That's good
But
that
it's just a
was,
matter of, yeah, figuring out
yeah.
what she's trying to tell us without telling us.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a guessing game every day.
Yes.
Literally.
Yes, you like ice cream.
Me
You
too,
could put that in
girl.
your hobbies.
Me
You
too.
love going to get ice cream at the farm. That's a
What's your
business here in town.
okay? What's your favorite flavor, Shaylee?
What's your favorite kind of ice cream? The one at the farm? Mint chocolate chip? She
Oh, that's a
loves
good
mint
one.
chocolate chip.
That's a good one.
And pistachio. You love Brahms pistachio.
Oh, that's interesting. I don't know if I've ever tried pistachio pudding ice cream.
Mom's favorite flavor of ice cream? Ice cream.
So what is I mean, you've told me, it's kind of humbled you, so that's a positive way that it's kind of helped you grow. But what is another positive thing, or a positive, how can I say that? What is something positive that is I can't even talk, you guys. I'm
Words.
like, words are hard right now. In what positive ways has this experience being Shaylee's mom helped you grow? I know you said it helped humble you, but what are some other areas of your life it's helped you in a positive way?
I think it's helped, like, kind of in the same way that I said that, notice that I noticed the negativity with people or whatever. It's the same thing with people's hearts, like how amazing they can truly be too, and opening my eyes to that, and just seeing the world. I never knew what it was like to be a mom. They're my first time, twins. They're like, congratulations, here you go. I
Double
didn't even know what it
whammy.
was like to be a mom, let alone a mom of a kid with special needs, and to have a whole lot. Here you go. My plate was so empty for so long, children wise, and then it got full really fast. But like, it's just, they're amazing to wake up to, and just knowing, like every night I thank God, I'm like, those are my babies. And just, I don't even know the pride that, in every little thing that she does, or her, the fight is just, I don't know how to describe it. I feel really stupid right now.
No, listen, I could barely get my question out. So
it's such an amazing feeling. It's more, like, I don't know. I tell them all the time. I'm gonna cry.
That's okay.
They're the only ones that have ever got to hear my heartbeat from the inside. And it truly beats for them. And just, I don't know. It's just, it's amazing. It's amazing to see her fight. It's amazing to see the pride in herself and the determination with her, and just her life in general. To know that she came from this 4-pound baby to that, wasn't supposed to live, to this.
And now she's thriving.
Yes. And she wasn't supposed to have a life. She wasn't supposed, and she does, and she's so happy, and her smile, her laugh is just infectious.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't, just everything, like,
yeah. I think it's just like being able to, we see things in such a different perspective, as far as being a special needs parent. There's those little things that sometimes I think having, like our son, he's a normal developing child, but there's certain things I didn't embrace with him when he was little, or the victories that I kind of didn't celebrate, or I didn't notice as much, so when this happened, I feel like you embrace the smallest. It doesn't matter how small it is. It's big to us,
yes.
And the perspective that you have on life is just so different once you've experienced it. And it's beautiful. I mean, it's hard. it's definitely a hard experience, but there's so much beauty in it, and
There
it
is.
is hard to describe because unless you have experienced it, it's really hard to put into words, honestly, sometimes.
Yep. And I mean, and I think I'm assuming every mom would do that in general anyways. Um, to never take that hug for granted
Right.
or anything that a child is willing to share with
Right.
mom or whatever for granted, but that is definitely something that I'm like, I'm thankful that I do get to hug them every night. I do get to
Yeah.
tuck her in, and I
Yep.
am, as said earlier, I'm going to convince myself that I'm her safe haven, and that's why she's
Yeah.
crazier around me than anybody else or whatever. um
Yeah.
because and I don't know, just I feel really dumb, sorry.
No,
um
it's fine. It's a beautiful thing. You can't see what I see, but as you look at her, I see all that love that you have for her as you're looking at her trying to figure out your words. And I mean, I get it. I get the look. I get the feeling that you're feeling. It's just sometimes it's hard to put into words cuz all you can all I can say sometimes when I look at my daughter is wow.
yep.
Wow. Like wow.
Yeah, you're like,
So I
explain,
get
and
it.
I'm just like,
Yeah. Can you not see this right here? Do you see that? Work of art. Yes. Well, I love that. So I kind of close out every podcast interview with a bigger question. And you don't have to just give me one answer, but we have lots of families out here that are brand new to the special needs lifestyle. There's families that are never going to be exposed to it, and that's fine, but they do want to learn and they want to be educated or they want that encouragement or advice. So what is some advice or encouragement or all of it that you would give our listeners that you'd be able to offer to them?
um one, if you do get a diagnosis of any kind, don't ever Google it. That's
Yeah.
that's terrible.
So
um
take note on that.
yes, that is
Gosh.
the worst thing you can do. And follow your gut. Like, mama intuition is, it's it.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, um, the doctors can be wrong, and she's living proof.
Yeah.
If they tell you, you know, don't be afraid to ask for 20 different opinions if that's what you feel you need to do. Um, and you are definitely going to be your child's biggest advocate, and that will it has cost me friendships, or
Yep.
what I thought was friendships.
Yeah.
And I don't regret a word. I don't
Yep.
regret an action. I don't regret anything I did, because I know at the end of the day, that's what my daughter needed. That is what,
Yep.
turn it down, bud. Um, Nobody else was going to fight for her, you know?
Yep.
So I have to.
Yep.
And the same for any special needs parent. You will be your child's biggest advocate. And like you had said earlier, too, just because they're family, just because they're friends, doesn't mean they're in it for the long haul. You have to, and you will find out pretty early on, especially Shaylee was a lot more extensive care when she was younger than she is
Right.
now. Um, and they kind of weaned themselves out. And
Mm-hmm.
that's fine, because you don't share in her victories now,
Yep.
and that's your loss. I
Yeah.
get to wake up, and I get to cherish those moments.
Yep.
So I'm sorry that you don't, but
Yeah.
again, I'm not going to feel bad for you. I'm not going
Right.
to dwell on that. I'm going to pick my head up. I'm going to move on. I'm going to focus on her the same
Yep.
as she is. Um, so definitely, you got to have some tough skin
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
But that's my biggest is, don't ever Google anything. Don't ever, ever, ever hesitate to act on your mom tuition, and even talk to other moms. Find that support group within other moms, even if it's not the same
Right.
diagnosis. I can't tell you how many friends I've made, just reaching out through the internet, through support groups, through different things and finding friends in them, because they do, like you said, they get my journey. They get, even if it's not the same one, we're still on the same path.
Yeah.
Even if this one has potholes and this one has,
Right.
Sticks in the road or whatever, we're still on that same path together. And
Yep.
they get it, and they know if I'm canceling plans on Friday night, it's nothing personal. It's
Yep.
I'm being mom.
Yeah.
Where others, don't necessarily get that. But
Yep.
just always breathe. And if you ever need a reminder of how great life is, just look at your baby.
Yeah. That's so true. That's so
It
true.
doesn't matter how tough it is for me.
Yeah.
I just think she's got bigger battles, and I got to be there for her to fight them. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's
and Michael,
beautiful.
yep, she's with Sissy or with Trevor. Yep. See, she's like, I want to scare Sissy.
Okay. That's important. I like to scare people too. I scare my son and my husband all the time. I'm really
You
good
guys
at
can
it.
be
Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to do this interview and let me kind of pick your brain and learn about your family and your wonderful daughter. She's precious. She's very precious.
Thank you.
So I just thought it was cool. I thought it was cool we got to connect thanks to Tina, but also I just think it's really cool, just so my listeners know, I actually didn't personally know Danny and Shaylee, but they used to come into Bath and Body a lot. And I remember their faces. So yeah, it's kind of cool how people connect down the road at some point. So I appreciate your time. I really, really do. It's
Thank
very,
you. No, I
very
appreciate
important.
this a lot.
Yeah,
Sorry, I kind of stumble a lot.
No, it's fine. That's what we do. It's just you heard me. I couldn't get it together, but that's okay because I have some of the best listeners, so they understand.
Yeah.
But thank
like
you so much.
Mom friends, and Shaylee's got some friends too, so I'll shoot you some names.
Yeah, you're gonna have to share. Yeah, let them know or shoot me their names or tell them to get a hold of me. I'd be more than happy to sit down and talk. This is a form of self-care right here. So, but I will let you ladies go, and thank you again.
Thank you so much.